Welcome to Tunnel Talk, a no facts, all feelings wrestling podcast on the Social Suplex Network. I'm Allie.
I'm Ann.
I'm Leah. I love that you giggled your way through that.
I don't know. I've gotten in my head about it now because I fucked it up a couple times. as my co-hosts have pointed out a couple times, I just didn't say it was a wrestling podcast, stuff like that. So now I really focus as I'm saying.
I liked it. You had kind of an NPR energy as you got into it. A lot of times you attack it, but this time you were like, "Welcome to Tunnel Talk." It sounded like we were in fresh air a little bit.
Oh yeah, a little more Terry Gross than my usual kind of morning DJ style.
I love your usual. I love this one too. I think they're both great.
Thank you so much. I got multiple outfits in my closets, ladies. In my one closet. I guess I've got two. Well, how are you guys doing this week?
Oh, great.
Oh my God, it's sleeting here. It's like this horrible, unholy, hail, snow, rain mix. And I am so sick of this shit.
I need it to be one thing or the other because here it was 80 degrees and my air conditioning wouldn't work. So I had to get my air conditioning repaired. And then the next day it dropped. So the highs are in the 30s. And I just can't cope with that. It's not okay. But my air conditioning works.
So. That's good. That'll be good eventually, someday.
Right, someday.
It's so crazy that it's like everybody all around this country of the United States that we live in is just having the same horrible experience. It's a little dark, but yeah, it was horrible here all week. And then today the sun came out and it got up to a sexy 55 or so. Hey. So I opened every window in my apartment.
Nice.
And then about an hour later, I closed every window in my apartment because I was freezing to death. So...
But you got that
fun.
Got that fresh air in there, though.
Yeah. I think it's why has this been the most talk about weather winter of all time? I feel like I can't remember the last winter where we talked this much about the weather.
Yeah.
Just suffering.
I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't know. I feel like usually there's a slow, oh, it's fall. Oh, it's getting colder. Oh, it's winter. Oh, it's the dead of winter. Oh, it's getting spring. And maybe there's a couple setbacks, but it warms up. I feel like this winter, it hasn't been that cold and there wasn't that much snow, but then that just made it feel like an endless, marching forward, where there wasn't actually any this is a cycle we're in.
Yeah, it'll always be this way. It always has been, it always will be. Now, do you think that one thing that could bring a little warmth back into our lives is if we bring back our What's Making Us Happy segment?
Oh. My
God. We probably need it today because we're all a little bit in the depths of despair, but I haven't prepped anything.
We haven't prepped anything, but I think the time might have come. The time might have come. The time might be now. Bring it back, baby.
Happy little April.
Yeah. I'll say that one thing that's making me happy this week is that I went insane last week and I ordered about 7 vintage planters on Etsy and eBay, and those have been coming in for the past few days, and they are beautiful. I mean, my taste is impeccable. These are lovely studio pottery pieces, one of a kind.
Wow.
They're made by artisans of the past.
Wow.
That's
your favorite thing, really? An artisan of the past?
An artisan of the past is my favorite thing. So some of them I'm going to have to learn to macrame so I can macrame because they have holes and I have to hang them in a certain way. So that's a little project I'll be getting into. And honestly, about 10 minutes before we hopped on this Zoom, I was like, God, I wish we weren't recording because I could go get macrame stuff right now.
Honestly, a little project learning how to macrame does feel maybe this will be my thing,
Yeah, for a while at least.
Yeah, I mean, you can really lose yourself in some macrame, I feel like. I mean, I've never done it, but I assume.
It's the same with all crafts. It's I want to go through that cycle of I'm not very good at it. Then very quickly, I'm extremely good at it and obsessed with it. I macrame 8 different things for my own home. I ask everyone I know, do you need anything macramed? They say, no, nobody has ever needed anything macramed. And then I put the tools away and forget about it, and I don't know how to do it anymore. I crave this cycle.
So you keep yourself feeling alive, yeah.
Yes. and I need to come to life. There will be so many pots hanging in this apartment. You are not going to believe it. Well, great. One of you can do that next week. Not the macrame, but the happiness factor.
Yeah. I just got a new rug for my dining room. That's making me happy.
Yeah, you got a beautiful rug.
It looks great. Yeah, and the dog
good
hasn't
choice.
succeeded in cheering it up yet.
That doesn't count as your turn, FYI.
Oh, it does though, because I just
No,
went.
it absolutely does not. That is
does.
Allie's
You're up
turn.
next
Leah,
No.
if you say something that is making you happy right now, we'll cycle back around and I'll go next week and you won't have to go again for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Look at her just looking around for things she likes.
There's got to be something in this room.
Something in this goddamn house that I purchased.
That I purchased. You don't even have to have purchased it.
No, maybe you made a delicious meal that you loved, or maybe something else is nice.
I got to Joe Brand's season of Taskmaster.
Oh, yes.
And I love her so much that I was like, when I finish this season, I'm going to go on the biggest Joe Brand tear that I've ever been on. I'm going to buy her stand-up specials and just really go ape shit.
Wow.
That's a good what's making you
That is a
happy.
good
And
one.
she is so funny. And the one task that she does with what's his face?
David Baddiel. Yeah. Where they're
What season is that?
9.
9.
I gotta step up my Taskmaster.
Oh my god, I'm not going to spoil it then, but it is.
No, you can spoil it.
There's a team task where it is just clearly they're like, we've been friends for years.
Yeah.
We're having a very weird day, but we're both going to make the best of it, and with absolutely no urgency, and it is the funniest thing.
Well, they did something in series 9, and this isn't you'll find this out very early on, where they split them up into the teams, and it's one team of 3 and one team of 2, and
Always
the team
seems
of
unfair. Yeah,
I know. The team of 3 it's 3 very busy, happy young people. Is that the season that Rose Matafeo is in?
Yeah.
Yes. And they are so gung ho. They're like, we love doing casts. We love doing things fast. And then they put the 2 older comedians together, and their vibe is just happy to be here and not really trying that hard.
But what makes it so good is that the speed and enthusiasm of the younger team so far where I am is not actually helping them in any way.
It does not translate necessarily to a win. Yeah, that's a good season. Okay, well, good job, Leah. And now you don't have to
Wow.
go again for 3 whole weeks.
Wow.
I believe we all came up with a what's making us happy on the spot. Those are
kind
some
of
happy
shocked,
girls.
actually.
And you know how I feel about improv.
You love it, and you always have. You always will. And you love when men do it.
There's nothing I love more than when a man tells me about his improv habits.
No one loves anything more than that.
When a man tells me about how he's been indulging in a little private improv. When
Another
he tells me he has an
classic
improv
talk.
proclivity.
His improv fetish. What is this chit chat time? I don't know what's happened here.
And you had something you wanted to report on in Chit Chat time. Do you want to? I don't know how long we've been doing this. 20 minutes, 30?
8 minutes and 47 seconds.
That's not bad.
Oh, the Notes app apology that Jeff sent in. Yeah. So hopefully our listeners remember that my friend of the pod, Jeff.
I'm sure they do. It's come up a
guested-
couple times.
It's come up a couple times. Revealed that he could not tell the Young Bucks part, and Leah demanded a Notes app apology, and we said that it needed to be. The apology needed to be as loud as the disrespect. So it was. He made one and messaged it to me to show to Leah, which is how the insult came in.
Yeah.
So Jeff wanted me to reveal this on the air because you didn't notice, I didn't notice either. But you may have noticed that his syntax was a little bit odd in this Notes app apology. And it turns out it's actually an acrostic.
Oh,
The first letters of every word spell something out for you.
What do they spell out? Let's take a look
I can
at
tell
it.
you, or you can start sounding it out.
Till. And I actually can't do it.
So it says
I still can't.
Oh, I still can't.
cannot.
I still cannot tell them apart.
Oh, Jesus.
Leah.
Jeff, you little rascal.
And he did a mind puzzle when he knows we're stupid.
No.
There's a reason we're not on Taskmaster.
Oh,
All I'll say. Well, you know what? We've accepted that there are things you know and there are things we know, but I think we all agree it's rude and even fucked up to say out loud that you can't tell the Young Bucks apart. Okay, so just do us the courtesy of keeping it to yourself. And when we say things like Matt was so beautiful last night, just say like he absolutely was.
Yes.
He was. I know which one he was. And he was very
exceptionally beautiful.
He was so beautiful.
Yeah. Jeff did also tell me, and I'm going to say this into the record so that it's on. He said that if Cody leaves Mania without the title again this weekend, he'll donate $50 to the charity of Tunnel Talk's choice, and he'll double it to $100 if Leah got mad on the podcast when I revealed the acrostic, which I think that qualifies.
I think it did. I got disgusted.
So if Cody loses this weekend, Jeff's gonna.
Wow, we're gonna have to sit down and check in about our charities. I know we can find some good ones.
I'm sure we can. Yeah.
Listen, I know that we can locate a charity. If there's one thing we'll be able to do. All right. I think that's quite enough chitter chatter. And let's get down to business. Let's start with the Copleopen. So Big Cope opened Dynamite this week with a rah-rah go AEW pep talk about how AEW is where the best wrestle, and he wants to retire at AEW, and we have so many good and kind wrestlers, and he named a lot of them, all that jazz. I don't know really how this played for what I've called here the mythical casual fan, but those of us who are really embedded in the world of wrestling know that this was a response to CM Punk's Ariel Helwani, is that how you say that? So. Interview this past Monday, in which he shit-talked AEW, called Tony Khan a bad boss, and said the promotion isn't worth anything, and that people shouldn't get paid fairly in wrestling. It was a great cell phone. It's nice when you don't like someone, and every time they open their mouth, they say something that makes other people not like them too.
He also said that he's constantly taking chicken salad and turning it into chicken shit, so... Pretty funny little reversal of and true. I would say he does. Yeah.
Any overall thoughts? I would say of course, we're glad Punk doesn't go here anymore, and we're happy that we get to ignore a lot of what he does. But if you have any thoughts on his interview, or just on this response.
Not
his
really.
interview was mostly like pretty boring. Like I didn't watch it. I just like heard the clips,
just
but
got
it's
the
like
highlights.
he like literally just kind of rehashed his same 5 grievances. It's like
move on, buddy.
A 45-year-old man is still mad about a wrestling promo from 2 years ago. It's just like a little bit sad, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely the takeaway where I was like, oh, you are a sad little man, and you don't have that much going on. You know, like he's just every single thing that he stood for, like as a, like his whole, everything he had going for him, like, I'm standing against the corporations. I spoke up, for the little guy, all that stuff. He's just completely trashed all of it. And it's just sort of like, oh, you're so small. You know what I mean? Like that's how I felt watching like some of those clips where I was just like, oh, you're just a small man with no morals. And so I'm glad that you don't go here anymore.
What am I thinking of that I love to reference? It might be that thing where someone's going like, I'm shrinking, and they're getting like so small. No? Okay, let's move on.
No, it's familiar. I can't place it, though.
This is the same thing as... Oh, well, go ahead.
But it is just like hell is like a terrible person's internal like grievance monologue that just repeats over like the same 3 sentences over and over. It's just like... Oh, this is sad.
Yeah, he's not even like a worthy adversary, Like there are people that I've enjoyed hating, and I'll always enjoy hating them, and like, it's one of those things where it's like it's satisfying to see them trip because they're like they just managed to annoy you so much. And actually, CM Punk isn't even that. Where I'm just like, oh, you're not. anything.
Right. It's like there was a time where it was like I hated him so passionately, but he was always doing something new and terrible, and so it was kind of exhilarating in the gossip mill, but it's just like, oh, this is just not even interesting.
I will say that, I mean, that friend of Jungle Boy's that everybody links to, her name's like Stella K or something, and she had like retweeted one of the clips where like Punk was like, oh, I just choked him out a little bit, and she was like, well, he tried to use an MMA hold that instantly failed and he had it reversed on him, and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Love that.
I know. So much of the clips seem to be also just like him being like, oh man, I'm a real tough guy, and I would have murdered him if only I could have spoken to him without my lawyer present, which I am unwilling to do. It's just like, all right.
It's funny, you know, as long as, again, he doesn't go here anymore and we don't really have to deal with it, to just listen to a man, like, say that just the most deranged stuff of all time about violence in the workplace.
Yeah.
Do you think that we needed somebody to address it? Did you like what Cope did at the beginning or not? He didn't mention Punk specifically, to be clear, but
no, he said something about negativity, and that's about as close as he got. I am not sure, and I'm gonna probably contradict myself like 6 times when I say this, but I don't think that anybody should have specifically said anything. Like, referencing negativity was probably as close as I actually wanted to, because the thing is that, like, you don't have to answer back accusations that are just one man stepping on his own rake, you know, like, so fine. But that said, I do think that was an opportunity for a promo that was like a little bit more, I don't know, I feel bad saying this because like it did seem genuinely like from his heart, but I don't, like, Cope is not, he's not my AEW guy yet. Like, he's still new. He's still, like, I would have preferred somebody who'd really been around for a while, who really could be like, I chose this place and I know you guys chose this place and we're in it together, sort of thing. Like, that's the kind of feeling that I wish that I came, you know, the feeling we got after Mox's promo after Brawl Out, where he was just like, guys, we're all in this, we've all made the decision to be here together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of feeling, like, whatever. But I, like, at the same time, it's like, there was probably value in having a WWE guy who chose to walk away from WWE to hang out in AEW, and Cope did try his best. So, I don't know if there was anybody else who could have succeeded. So, was that non-answer good?
Yeah, it was great. I think you're right. It's like I think that the logic of it makes sense, and I do understand why, like, Punk had this interview where he was just like, oh, AEW is a clown show and now I'm back at the real deal, which is like embarrassing for him because of his whole history, and like we don't have to get into all that. So I can understand the logic of being like, okay, but it's going to be someone who everyone like looks at and they see like, you were at WWE, you're a really big deal, and he's saying like, no, this is the best place to be. I think that like if you don't have WWE damage, which we don't, then sometimes it's kind of like, okay, you can just pretend WWE doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally just ignore them, and we don't have to. Everything doesn't have to be in relation to WWE. And I do understand that they've dominated the wrestling world for a long time, and I understand why we have so many conversations we do and talk about them a lot. But
it is wild to me, though, like, how much people are always talking about, like, AEW in relation to WWE. And, like, I get that everyone has all this, like, WWE trauma that I can't access. But it's like, I don't know. Every TV show I've ever really liked, like, has not had that high ratings compared to, like, The Big Bang Theory, you know, or Survivor or something. But they're better shows. And it's never really... I've never really been angry at Big Bang Theory. It's like a lot of Americans have bad taste. You know, like, that's not my business.
Well,
sure, but like not because it's more popular. Though. Big Bang. I'm not like, it's so unfair. It's just like it's a sucky show, but like, who cares? You know what I mean? And so it's like when everyone's obsessed with like, it's so unfair that WWE is doing better, and why is everyone so brainwashed with like WWE? It's like, well, a lot of Americans have bad taste. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
People love so many bad things.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really just thought they didn't need it at all because I don't feel like AEW is in the dirt right now. Like when Mox did the big speech, like I felt like a lot more like having been through the ringer as an AEW fan, whereas this week it's just like pathetic old man says same old pathetic grievances. And it's like, I don't know that we need to like get into it. But I mean, I agree that like I think Mox would have done it better. Not that even Cope did bad. Like I'm not even mad about it. It's like there were a lot of kind of. I thought it was mostly just kind of boring, So like Danielson, since Mox is out doing whatever he's doing, like Danielson might have been better, especially as a WWE guy. But also like whatever. I mean,
Danielson doesn't want to go out there and give a big happy speech. He would want to say something like crazy or a little mean or something.
Yeah,
I think I think it made some people really happy and some people really wanted to hear it. And so it's fine.
It's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah,
it was kind of boring, but it's fine. And of course, I don't even know what I was going to say. There's really nothing else to say about it. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody ready? Are you ready to talk about it?
Our big thank all of our listeners for your thoughts and prayers this week.
Yes, thank you so much. Many of you thought of us when you saw this happen, and you reached out and you told us that we have friends and that we'll be okay, and we needed to hear that. Okay, Greg did heel turn. Greg heel turned. I bet.
I didn't think you were going to do this live on the air. I love it. Gondor has fallen.
From day is done. Gone the sun. From the lakes, the hills, and the sky. I did write this in the schedule. Thank you so much, Leah. That was beautiful and it was poignant. Oh, guys, I bet you're wondering how we got into this mess. Okay. It started as a night like any other. The Young Bucks and Best Friends were scheduled to fight. The Bucks showed up in their flashy new suits, and then they changed into what I've called their new bellhop wrestling gear. Best Friends showed up in beautiful matching tracksuits, and Greg's mom, Sue, was there, and she had a matching tracksuit. Mm-hmm. And they all came out for the match, and Dustin was on mom duty, which was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And he brought a folding chair and a bottle of water for Sue, and he was taking care of her ringside.
I'm telling you,
she could be there to watch Greg.
Ringside was where he's meant to be.
If he could really have a mom at ringside to make sure she's got enough water and a chair.
The man said, you thought I was a wrestler? No, I'm an usher.
I'm an usher. I'm just imagining him going around backstage being like, does anyone have anyone they wanted to bring ringside like that you need taken care of? Like, I could be that guy. I would blend into the background, kind of like a Luther Butler vibe. But I would just be there.
Oh my God.
He's like, brighter room. I can take you through either tunnel,
It's so funny to picture him like pitching Tony to be like, no. If Tony needs a butler to carry her to the ring, why Luther? I'm right here.
It could be me. I've been a butler before. I have the credentials.
He's got experience. Can't believe they hired Luther, a man with no experience, for this job.
It's so sick. Well, anyway, so Dustin was on mom duty doing a great job. Greg did get pinned. I think it's like we should really take a moment and just let that sink in. Greg lost. Greg lost the match, okay? Uh-huh. And he was really unhappy, and the Best Friends all looked really defeated and forlorn, and the Bucks were making fun of Sue as they left, and Dustin got in the ring, and he rallied his boys. He said, we got to give the people what they want.
He gave the coach claps. Said, come on, shake it off.
It was a good game. Let's all just hug each other and love each other. And then instead of hugging, Greg hurt Orange Cassidy.
Jump kicked him right in the face.
He did a full wrestling move on him. I mean, he kicked him on purpose. For real.
Knocked him right over, head over heels.
So mean.
He gave him a running knee, which I saw on Awfully Waffly's Twitter this morning that she was trying to ask what that knee is called, and apparently Excalibur used to call that knee the sexy Chucky knee, which is even worse.
No, he used the sexy Chucky knee against Orange Cassidy.
I'm going to be sick.
It's not appropriate.
I'm going to be ill.
Orange Cassidy, expecting a hug, gets a sexy Chucky knee right in the face.
Sexy Chucky knee. He can't have liked it. I mean, he didn't. He was lying there hurt. He's lying there hurt. Greg storms off. He leaves his mom behind.
Leaves his mom behind. Doesn't give her an explanation. She's begging for one.
And then what horrible thing did we see from a fan? So that's where we leave it on
Dustin
Dynamite.
Looks devastated. Yeah, cut
He
to
looks
commercial.
Beautiful face acting from Dustin.
He did.
How could this happen?
Really fantastic face acting. He looked so sad.
I said, have you been taking classes? This is good. This is good stuff.
I hope he's been practicing that face in the mirror because he nailed it.
He says, I look sad a lot. So
It's just like I just channeled myself a year ago.
love you, Dustin. And then what do we see what does a fan show us happens after?
So then Dustin just walks out with Sue, puts his arm around Sue, walks out, leaves Orange Cassidy there to have to be escorted out by a referee, some strange referee.
It's
sick.
I barely know what to say.
Didn't even go over to comfort him. Didn't even go to see if he
didn't go
was
to
knocked
check on
unconscious.
That man just got sexy Chucky kneed.
Which sounds like it should be your responsibility to deal with.
Pretty much it's your knee. It's explicitly your knee.
Yeah.
Okay?
Don't have the knee if you don't want to deal with the consequences of the knee.
Amen, sister. More men need to hear it.
But no, was there tender help? No. Because he's on mom duty. The mom's all he's thinking about.
He
Sue didn't get
chose
knocked out.
Sue.
I think that Sue would have been happy to go and check on OC. You know what
they
I
could
mean?
have done
Like,
it
it's like-
together.
I feel like Dustin stood there between Orange Cassidy and the departing Greg and said, who do I choose? I choose Sue. I'm not.
Dustin it's like a dog between the two owners being like, come here, come here, come here. And he just lies down and cries.
Yeah.
I can't deal with any of this. I can't do this right now. I'm having a really bad day. Okay? I just want to keep taking care of a mom. I'm going to take her backstage. I'm going to get her another bottle of water. I'll find her a different chair. It doesn't have to be this folding chair. It could be a nicer chair. I'm going to take care of her, okay?
I would love it if, like, I guess there is BTE. I was about to be like, this would be happening on BTE. I guess BTE does still exist for the Dark Order, but I want to be seeing Dustin backstage. He won't leave Sue alone. He's just following her around, trying to be, is there anything else I can get you? And Sue's like,
Yeah.
You got to back off a minute. And Dustin's like, I don't have anywhere to go.
I want
He's
Sue
basically
to
just like-
explicitly be like, girl, you have other problems. Like, you need to go deal with your family
like-
drama.
It's like when you have a task you don't want to do, so you clean your whole house instead.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
Dustin's doing with Sue. And I get it, but sometimes you have to grow up. You have to face.
And that is so true. You have to face some harsh realities, which are that your family's fallen apart. And it's my family, too.
Yeah. All our family. We lost Yuta. Like the shirt that he's cutting up with everyone's faces on it is going to have no one left. It's going to be pure nipple shot.
Now, did
We're
you
never,
guys...
if you think we're seeing pure nipple from Dustin in the year 2024, you're on drugs.
Did you guys see the video after with Greg backstage?
Yes.
Describe it.
With
Describe
Kris.
it for us, Leah.
So
it, yeah.
the camera catches Greg walking towards him and tries to get an interview, and Greg says, I'm not talking right now. And then Kris comes out of nowhere and is like, shoves him and is like, what the hell's wrong with you? Kris, voice of the people. And
Doing
Those
what
are
Dustin
friends.
can't do.
yeah. And Greg, I don't remember if he says anything, but all of a sudden he leans in and he whispers something in her ear, and she looks intrigued and placated. And then
And like she's trying really hard not to laugh, but yes.
yeah, that as well. That as
Yes.
well. And
In kayfabe, she looked intrigued and placated. She looked like she was about to crack up, and it was really, really hard not to break.
I want to know what he actually whispered
Yes.
because it was like some nonsense.
Something
Or it was just
deranged,
something
yeah.
like, I have to look like I'm whispering to you right now, which she just didn't expect, which would be very Greg.
That's true.
To look like
Yeah.
I'm saying something to you right now.
If we lived in a just world, we would be barreling towards a heel Greg and heel Kris versus Chuck and OC match.
Yes.
we
so
don't live in a fair world.
We don't. Wow.
The thing is, of course, it's so exciting for our children, our little boys and girls of the best friends, to be doing any plot stuff at all, which they love to not do for us. I can't believe literally a week after I was like, I give up, you guys are right, no breadcrumbs go anywhere. Then Greg says, oh yes, breadcrumbs do go somewhere, actually. You. Where were you last week, Greg? But of course, it's exciting for them to do a story. Now, I do worry, though, because the thing is, I'm going to need the arc of this story to be towards all my friends being friends again.
Yeah, that's very important.
Because if they're not, I'm going to jump out my window.
Yeah, we're in a happiness crisis as it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even my pets won't save me.
there's only so much macrame any person can do.
I will allow them to emotionally torture me as long as they want to, as long as they are actively doing so.
Yes.
If I just don't want them to drop it and then suddenly Greg's a big single star and we never see Dustin again.
I know, that's my real concern. It's like Greg goes out, or he starts like tagging with Rocky only, and Dustin loses his job probably.
He can tag with Rocky. They can be evil Roppongi Vice. That's okay.
As long as
OC has custody of Dustin. Someone has to have custody of Dustin. Dustin can't get lost in the system.
Yeah,
backstage.
He can't go to foster care. He can't go to a group home. He needs to be with a parent.
He needs to
He won't do well out there.
I know. It's like, I'm like, I have OC's face in my hands. I'm like, I know he walked away from you out there, okay? I know that probably didn't feel very good because he didn't even check on you to see if you were okay from the sexy Chucky knee. But you have to step up now, okay? Now you have custody of Dustin. You need to sit him down. You need to talk to him about his feelings, which he's struggling with, and you guys can support each other. You can get through this together. Someone has to keep Dustin.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
As long as Dustin is taken care of and the arc of the story comes back together, this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened. And I'd just like some assurances.
I agree. It's like, Tony, pick up the phone. We have so few demands. Okay, I know we make a lot of suggestions, but most of them are, it's like, we're just encouraging you to play in the space. This is it. This is what we need. We need to know that Dustin is safe. We need him to be safe, and we need to see him every week on TV. I don't think it's a lot to ask.
It's not a lot to ask, no. Just,
It's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple. It is funny to be like, there's equal chances that this is going to be a real story that has a beginning, middle, and an end, and that they never bring this up again. And then in 3 months, Dustin and Greg are teaming again, and no one mentions it.
I thought you were going to be like, and we never see Dustin again.
That is also
that
a real
well,
possibility.
to be honest.
That's the real fear.
But it really is like they
listen to
haven't
us.
had a storyline since the Miro Butler thing and the whole run of our podcast.
That is, well, when you put it that way,
I know.
that's dark. And
3 long years, my friends.
Yeah.
But look at us, our passion is undiminished.
I would say Yuta leaving them was something.
That was something.
Sort of.
That
It was
the
like
most-
mostly on BTE and
No, remember Dustin stood on the ramp and then he looked back at Yuta and he
so
said, "Come
sad.
on, Yuta, come
it was
on."
like a 5-minute
They had
storyline.
They had a bunch of matches about it. Dustin wrestled
They had-
singles matches about it.
They had backstage segments.
It
wasn't
was real.
like
It was real.
It was real, and I saw it.
It was real.
I was there.
It was real to me.
Down the stairs, I was there.
I remember it all too well. Okay.
Please, Tony.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
That's all
That's all we need.
Just give your girl
Just like,
something.
he's just a boy. He's
so
just
little
a
of
boy.
wrestling is made for us.
For
Just
us.
throw us one tiny little bone.
That's our guy. And we're not alone, okay?
Yeah.
He's for women. He's
Some
our
living
guy.
girls. It's a 30% of your demographic, you know? You could stand
And I
to
think
look
you
at
want
it
it to be
more.
higher. I think you technically want it to be higher. I know you don't try that hard at it, but
I know you pay lip service towards wanting it to be higher.
We've said it many times on this, but look at me. I bought 8 vintage studio pottery planters just last week.
You could be advertising that on Dynamite.
I mean, I would never spend that on your merch because it's not made by old artisans, but...
We have spent a lot of money on merch, though. I mean, it's not nothing.
It's not nothing.
It's not nothing. It's certainly not nothing. It's a little something. It's a little something.
And I spend more. You can. Can we talk a little bit about the Bucks?
You take us there, Leah.
Matt grew in his beautiful feminine facial hair. He looked
full feminine beard.
Beautiful. Unfortunately,
he really had a vibe that was like, I have been held back too long. Like, my hair is out, it's down.
Yeah.
It does feel like he was holding the razor to his face and suddenly he just said, enough. Can I, for 1 week, be the man they want me to be?
Especially because Nick had stupid facial hair. So you would think that, like, Nick shaved the whatever he was doing and then handed the razor to Matt and was like, your turn. And Matt was like, I can't.
He flung it across the room.
And Matt was like flipping his hair around too.
But it started wet. He was a wet boy, but then it like left a damp spot on his stupid vest. And I couldn't stop looking at it because I was like, oh, you're a disgusting wet boy.
He had a real big bill. Wet spot.
Big Bill wet spot, yeah.
Oh, maybe he would get stuck in a Winnie the Pooh tree.
My God.
I wish he would. I wish he would.
But yeah, his hair dried out. It came loose. He was flipping it everywhere. He almost super kicked Sue and then was like, no, shut.
He was
being
such a bitch.
It is insane how much heat you can get by almost super kicking Sue. Like, it always really kills me how over Sue is.
And the Jungle Boy references. Hello?
Yes.
The Jack Perry
The boy
references?
himself, Mr. Perry. We got a little... I love when Matt does his favorite thing when he's walking down the ramp and he says something to the camera and winks at it. So sweet. Yeah. And he said, what did he say?
Scapegoat, love
I like
your work.
Wink. Wait, did he say call me? It had call me energy. At the very least. Call me.
Trish retweeted something and was like, fancy a trip to Chicago? And I was like, oh my God, if the Bucks show up at Windy City Riot in Chicago with Jungle Boy, I'll fucking lose my mind.
I want it. I want to see them.
Want it. What else? Oh, the commentary thing?
Yes, that was very funny.
That was so funny. I loved it. And I love Taz just likes the Bucks so much that he was like, yeah.
That's okay. And Taz says I love a heel. So. Yeah. Heel recognize heel. Great. So very fun match. Bucks were beautiful. And they have gone through to the finals, which they were being so bratty about. And this will have come out by the time you hear this episode, but we have the spoilers that FTR beat Top Flight on this weekend's special 11:30 p.m. Collision. So Bucks FTR 4 is the final match of the tag tourney, and that is scheduled for Dynasty. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I think I said this last week, and I still kind of feel the same, where it's like, I want the Bucks to beat FTR, and I want the Bucks to beat FTR for the belts, but I don't want to have to watch a Bucks FTR match.
No.
Yeah, it's a real indignity. I know. It's like, I do feel very confident that the Bucks are going to win, so like whatever, but it's just like stupid FTR being so boring.
Can you imagine what would happen to us if FTR won this match? I don't
want to even...
I don't think we'd be back.
Think about it. I think I would.
I don't think we'd be back.
What if FTR wins and then Dustin gets his contract cut because Craig's gone solo? We'd be like, that's it.
You need to spin and spit. Okay.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it sucks because instinctively when I'm like, okay, Bucks FTR are fighting again, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm like, well, the Bucks need to win clean. I can't be having any fucking shenanigans. But their gimmick right now is not win clean. Their gimmick right now is ratty bad boys, like their hammiest version of ratty bad boys. And it's like, whatever, fine. It's wrestling. It's not that deep. But this is the one thing that I feel like it's like I'm always letting people get cheated on or cheat or win bad. I don't care, but I want them clean win. To me, it is real. When the Bucks fight FTR, I can't think about it clearly. No. FTR should be in jail for sucking.
I want them to lose. I want them to lose clean, and I want them to lose in some humiliating way. Like, I want them to lose because Matt was literally standing on Dax's chest. You know what I mean?
I want them to lose like the way that, well, actually the opposite. Like, I want like the infantry at House of Black situation for FTR, except also FTR lose at the end, you know? I want like the Jay White, Billy Gunn situation this week where like FTR just are destroyed the whole time. I want them to look bad and stupid and then to botch like a buckshot lariat and then lose.
And I want like a kind of a nasty fratty slapstick thing where it's like they fall into a porta potty accidentally. Are you like, you know what
the classic ringside porta potty,
the funniest fantasy booking we've ever done. Just like we don't like them. What can we say?
I'm a good person. Don't I deserve to get to see FTR fall into a porta potty?
I'll say this: if fucking Motor City Machine Guns don't come out at the end of it, I'll be mad.
We'll be really mad.
I'll be real mad.
Every day, Alex Shelley is posting on Twitter, and he's saying, "Allie, you're gonna love me. You're gonna love me so much. I'm so sweet. I love to post sweet, sweet things. I love to say how much I love the Young Bucks, and I'm really earnest on my." And I say, "I know I'm gonna love you. I've known for years that I could love you, but I needed you to come to me. I needed you to come to my promotion, the only promotion I watch. If you don't come here now, it's over for me. It's over. Come here. Let me love you."
Yeah,
so thank you.
He tweeted something today and it was like, what was it? The Young Bucks were my favorite rivals, and
says I've
the guys we've
them
wrestled
the most.
Yeah. And I watched a clip where they said we're married to the Young Bucks.
I
liked
so
it.
Sweet. That's so sweet. That's what men should be saying.
It's nice to be pandered to once in a while.
I don't want to hear about your wife and your daughter. I want to hear that you're married to another tag team.
I want to hear that you're monogamous with your own tag team partner and that you
have a soulmate. You have a soulmate tag team that you're soulmate rivals with. That's what I want.
I want to hear that you're two sets of twins who married each other. and you had twins as children, and they're technically siblings, genetically.
Genetically siblings.
I think this segment has gone normal. Pretty well. I think this has gone fine. I think this has been fine.
Clip it. Put it on YouTube.
Oh God.
I'm going to, as you know, because I already made the YouTube graphic. It's pretty good.
I think we lived up to it. So
yeah, thank God. Anything else you want to say about Tag Eternity?
We've probably got another 20 to 30 minutes in us, right?
I know we could keep going, but we're supposed to play a game at the end of this episode.
Sort of self-indulgent enough.
Or are we in here? 40 minutes.
Pretty far, yeah.
I don't think we're playing a game.
No. That was supposed to be our special treat. Okay, we'll save the game for. It's got to be boring next week, right?
It's got to be.
Oh, undoubtedly.
It's got to be. Well,
guys, one of the people in our Discord came up with a game that fucking rules. So
chime off, boy.
Yeah. Everyone crossed their fingers for a boring episode next week.
Let's double back a little and we'll check in on Kris's possible ongoing descent into darkness. So Willow cut a live promo on Dynamite with Stokely and Kris standing by. Willow talked about her wrestling journey, how she got where she is in AEW, her excitement about facing Julia Hart for the TBS belt at Dynasty. Stokely also stepped in to talk about how impressive Willow is. He was quite sweet. And the crew was interrupted by Mercedes Moné, who said that she is going to fight the TBS belt holder, whoever that that might be at Double or Nothing, which is in what, 2 month, 2 month, 1 month, 2 month,
2-ish,
something like that. Yeah. Could be 2 month. It's hard to say. Any overall thoughts on the segment and on, let's say, on like Kris's vibes?
Why was it where it was? Like, why were they?
No idea.
Like, they were like on the ramp, but like by the good, in this case, the good girl hole, and they had their backs to the crowd, and it just was framed very strangely. I wonder why they did that.
I don't know.
Yeah. It was fine on TV, but it would have been weird.
It did have it had the energy of, the Acclaim did it recently. It had the energy of the between Dynamite and Rampage thing where they're changing the, but they weren't because it was the middle of the show. So I don't really know, but it's fine.
Yeah, I thought Willow did a fantic job with this
did a
promo.
great
I
job.
found it very emotional. I was like, this should have been the open instead of stupid cope. Just being, I don't know. I always like it when someone gives like an earnest promo about how they like shouldn't have made it in pro wrestling. And, all that kind of stuff.
So cute in that little dress.
Cute.
That dress was adorable.
Adorable.
Mm-hmm. She's an angel. She did a great job. Kris, meanwhile, was standing behind her dressed in, I believe our friend Caroline said that she thought it was kind of a scuba. I said maybe this is another Ben Stiller
It had that
reference.
vibe.
It had that vibe. And she said, has Ben Stiller ever played an evil scuba instructor? And
Which is exactly what
I immediately Googled it. I was like, you know what? You never know. That could be it.
There was a weird bikini section to it, I think. Like there was like
there were cutouts.
Yeah, there was something going on there that I was like, how many parts do these pants come in?
These are the questions we're always asking. No one will answer them. No one will tell us how many parts the gear has and how it goes on in what order. Kris, reach out if you want. I think...
Yeah, Kris, we have some questions. What did Greg whisper to you? And how many parts did your pants come in?
How many parts?
Yeah, so just tunneltalk@gmail.com, tunneltalkpod@gmail.com.
Tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. Please give her the right email
sorry,
address.
don't send us... Chris is emailing the wrong email address.
tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. And
when you explain your pants, we need to get it.
Some like New Jersey Transit Authority podcast is getting all these emails from wrestlers. They don't know what to do with it. Pants emails are like, that's nice to know about your gear, man, but
they don't deserve it. They don't deserve those descriptions. I think that Kris is gonna heel turn. And I think it is interesting if she and Greg stay aligned. I know they won't have that intergender match we want, but what if they did?
Oh my God.
It'd be so good if they did.
Guys,
what if they did?
So good.
What if they did a mixed tag with Dustin and Sue versus Greg and Kris?
What if?
I did see someone say that they want to see a Sue versus Matt Jackson match, and I was like, yeah, but I would also love to see that.
She got to slap him, you know?
Yeah. Kenny fought a 9-year-old girl. Can't Matt fight Sue?
Sue wants to fight. Any other thoughts on the segment, on Kris, Willow, Mercedes, the whole deal?
Well, my heart remains open to Mercedes. I am not in any way criticizing her, but it was a little bit jarring to have like Willow be so genuine and like, real, and like even Stokely get a little real and be like, I love this girl. I've been I don't know why I gave him that accent because that's
I liked it.
Accent. But then then Mercedes came out. I was like, what did she say? Money changes everything. You're like
in Vegas, money changes everything.
Like, these are two different vibes going on here.
Look, our hearts stay open. We want to watch her wrestle.
I do feel warm towards her just because it seems really clear that she like really wants to work with Willow and build her up, and that like makes me feel very fond of her, and I think that's really nice. But it is a weird vibe.
I do think she has really good intentions, and that she's going to be a plus for the company.
Yes.
And everybody I know that has watched her for a long time is like, she's a huge wrestling nerd. I just wish we were watching a nerd and not
Yeah.
Money changes everything. Listen, we're historically lukewarm on a lot of catchphrases. So when we hear a lot of catchphrases, it's not always what we love. Yeah. We love when people are bearing their souls. We love when people are getting, deep truths about their psyches ripped out of them by JR.
Where is JR sitting down with Willow and Mercedes? JR? That could go a long way.
That could go a long way for us.
Oh my God, did you guys?
I know it's a weird recommendation, be like, sit down with JR, but
that's where he has the sauce.
It's where he does.
Did you guys feel a little bit of interest when when Willow was like, I've driven up and down the coast, usually with this girl by my side, and I was like, I can hear about that. I can hear about that. Why don't you tell me a little bit more? We wrestled all
over this city.
Did
we
you guys
wrestled
talk
across
about
the city
stuff?
together? Did you guys share
a hotel room? A room?
Share a
Were
room?
you roommates?
Roommates?
Honestly, like a roommate or a road trip, like those are two things pretty guaranteed to get my interest.
Did you spend a lot of time in the car? Did you have a lot of deep conversations? Did you reveal things to each other that you've never revealed to anybody else?
Do you know things about each other that it's such a good feeling in your relationship now to know those things, but that if you were, I don't know, fighting each other, you would
feel pretty vulnerable
uniquely qualified to hurt each other more than anybody has ever hurt anybody in the entire history of the world?
Wow, shiver up my spine.
Makes you think. I do think, I have to assume we're going to get that eventually, although, we so often don't get things that we say we have to assume we're going to get. But I think that'll really fuck. Like, to have in the women's division, a friendship breakup where we've seen them do the work of being like, yes, we are friends, and you've believed it, and then you see it fall apart.
Yeah.
It's sexy. It's hot. It's cool.
Yeah. Getting the time to tell a story, feels good.
Feels really good.
It's roasty toasty, baby. Don't know what that means.
Feels right, though. Feels
roasty toasty.
Roasty toasty. Stay frosty, baby. Okay, should we move on to talking about the title scene?
Yeah.
Joe and Swerve's contract signing main evented Dynamite this week. So Swerve wore his big, beautiful fur coat. Samoa Joe had dress down day in a T-shirt. He attempted to dissuade Swerve from signing the contract for the match by explaining that it would be a mistake for Swerve to fight him because Joe is really good at fighting, I think was the gist of it. Swerve responded by kind of really talking up Dynasty, and he was talking up recent signings and, basically being like AEW the place to be. And then they got in a little fight. Swerve tried to choke Joe out with his steel chain, which he's carrying around because he's kind of a bad boy still, so he's carrying his chain. And Joe got the chain, and he beat Swerve up with it, and then he went to leave, but Swerve managed to grab the mic, and he's bleeding all over and ragged, talking. And he said, I love this. That's all you got? Then I'm taking the championship from you. And then he signed the match contract in his own blood. Joe came back and put him through a table. What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good. It was
pretty powerful stuff.
I liked it. I got a little chills when he started laughing. I was when he just
it was his crazy laugh.
Yeah. Joe was smugly walking up the ramp, and then you just heard the low chuckle. I like that. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. I thought Swerve did the crazy bleeding psycho stuff. I thought that was really effective. Really liked it. It was interesting because it's this wasn't I like that about it. I did feel a lot of people discourse that I saw today was people being oh, this has heated the feud up. This is now we're cooking kind of thing. And it's it's definitely an improvement, but I think for me, I would have still liked just a little more actual interpersonal, one of them to say something to the other that wasn't just I'll beat you up and then they beat them up. That it actually, I wanted to see someone really get in there and emotionally hurt each other in a way that would make the feud a little more compelling. I was thinking we've talked about with rom-coms or romances where it's just having an external obstacle isn't enough. Just having violence isn't really enough. There needs to be something internal that they're also overcoming to get the belt, I think, for it to be really as emotionally resonant. So it's this helped for sure. It wasn't bad. I just would like to see a little more from them, especially Joe.
It's really, for me, it's really Joe, where I'm like, I'd love to learn one thing about you. I'd love for you to say one thing that just is like something I didn't know about you that makes me understand you a little differently and hopefully feel mad at you and dislike you more. I mean, I don't feel that strongly about him either way, but like, I don't know. I think he should have, I didn't think that there was that much substance to him being like, you don't want to sign this contract because I don't think you understand that if you sign this contract, you will lose to me. And then whatever, we can't get into all of it, but I don't know. I didn't think there was much there. I really enjoyed the segment. Vibe wise, it was right. Like, I liked Swerve did a great job, bled beautifully. I love watching him smear that blood over the contract. Samoa Joe even did great face acting about it. Like, it's all fine, but like, it doesn't have the specific thing that I want, which is for men to put their psyches on the line.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you're saying that, it's like, I literally have like no feelings about Joe one way or the other, really. It's like he's a complete neutral to me. And I should be hating him and wanting Swerve to beat him at this point, but instead I'm just like, well, and Joe is also there, kind of not mattering. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
It is like with a rom-com. You want those compatible issues in the same way, even with, if they're hating each other.
Right.
You want Swerve to be pushing something in Joe that makes him really bad, and then Joe to be like acting out in ways that maybe make Swerve have to be good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think, there's just a lot of problems in this feud that luckily, like, they're both kind of charismatic enough to make, like, they're going to pass, you know what I mean? Like, the final grade is not going to fail.
C's get degrees.
But it is sucked that, like, Swerve is probably going to get the belt in a moment that's not as intense as you'd want it to be.
Yeah.
But hopefully he'll have a very cool reign.
Yeah. It's like Samoa Joe is not making Swerve make, like, those faces that he made when they were like in the 3-way and in the matches with Hangman, where he like just looks so raw and real and like, I need this.
Yeah.
I want to see men need things.
Yeah.
Where's the passion?
Amen, sister. Okay. Swerve was wearing beautiful eyeshadow.
Love the eyeshadow.
He did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Okay. Quick check-in on, I guess, Danielson, Ospreay. Danielson and Ospreay both had matches on Dynamite versus Lance Archer and Will Hobbs, respectively. Both men won their matches. Hobbs tried to attack Ospreay after their match, but Don Callis, quote, this is from the AW recap, whispered something in his ear and Hobbs backed off. A lot of whispering on Dynamite this week. What's in the air? A lot of secrets. Makes you think. The Danielson and Ospreay matches pretty much took up the whole first hour of Dynamite. Any thoughts on the kind of the show layout this week?
That was kind of rough for me, just because like it's like
I agree.
I liked both of these matches. Like, I don't want to complain about them, but it's like,
but you can if you want.
They were both Ospreay Hobbs went like 13 minutes. Danielson Archer went 15, and it's like, it's a long time to be watching two people where you're like, I don't want you to kiss, really. So
no, well, it's like they put them back to back, I think, because like as Ospreay was leaving Bryan Danielson, they did that overlapping entrance thing, which I do love. So it's like they were trying to connect them.
Yeah,
but
it made sense.
It was very like the Danielson Ospreay match. It's like both these matches were good matches. I have no complaints, and like the Danielson Ospreay match is going to be a very good match at the pay-per-view, but it's not engaging my emotions at all. It's not trying to. I don't think it needs to, but when there's a whole hour of Dynamite that's just like, yeah, I mean, like, there are feats of agility and strength that my heart is untouched. It's a little rough.
Amen.
I did think it was funny that Ospreay didn't even seem that bad that his like exit was interrupted by Danielson.
Yeah.
His face
So
was just
cheerful.
like, get a load of this guy.
He's crazy. We're going to fight in a couple weeks. He's wild.
And I think I think what I saw someone like Lipri was like, he said like top that to Danielson, and Danielson said, I mean, I'll try, probably won't though. And then they kind of like chuckled together, and it was like, well, that's classic, but it's not really getting me going. Like, that's nice,
Christ.
you know?
It's so crazy. It's like, it's fine.
How emotionally healthy. Yeah, sure.
It's fine. They will, of course, they will have a good match. Of course, all the matches were good. It's like, you know, we just like a little. We want our hearts to be moved. If there's one thing you take away from this episode, I hope it's that our hearts must be moved.
It's gonna crack me up if we get into a situation where Ospreay continues to be incredibly charming and incredibly good at wrestling and really charismatic, and just is so emotionally healthy that he's just like, y'all mad?
Honestly, that's what I think is going to happen. Like, I think he's just going to be like a Bryan Danielson out there, which is like...
No. He has to get paired with someone who will teach him.
Yeah.
Kip Sabian is out there on Twitter every day.
Kip Sabian's doing the work, goddammit.
Please, I can crack this man open. Please.
Did he say they kissed today?
Yeah.
He said
we kissed and he wasn't that good. Like,
he said it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
I want to see Will Ospreay go from being like, don't tell people that, to, oh, it wasn't that good? Excuse me? Watch me do it better.
Wow.
Hello?
And then that's the match. And it's the type of match that we've just come up with.
Kind of kiss for like 10 minutes. Yeah, we just see who's good at kissing, you know, and they can kind of...
It's like Kip Sabian Gay Wizard isn't my first choice for a competitive kissing match, but I will take what I can get, obviously. If they're the men who are willing to do it, then bring them out, by all means. By all means, bring them out then. Yeah. I don't know what we're talking about. I've forgotten what is happening here.
Someone needs to emotionally torture Ospreay, and
yes.
I don't see someone on the horizon, but they need to get him out of here post haste.
You know,
I want so bad. I'm sorry, I'm not going off the kissing match. We're not done yet.
No, say something else.
I want to listen to Dave Meltzer recap that match.
Kissing match. I've never seen a match like this before.
Brian, so they kissed for like, you know, like 10, 15 minutes, and there was a couple of references to All Japan from the 90s.
Brian, their tongues were battling for dominance.
And you know, wasn't for me. You can't deny that the crowds loved it. I mean, when you look at the drawing power, you know, I have to admit that.
Brian says WWE did it better.
It's hard to be number two, okay? It's hard. Your kissing matches are just not as strong.
Shut up, Brian Alvarez. This is a literal innovation. WWE has never done anything like this, Brian. Oh my God. Wow. Whew. Well, we'll never see it. I was just going to say really quickly, I had the thought, I would love to see just a little backstage segment that's just for me. I would love to see kind of like, it's like a happy day for Ospreay, where he's just like kind of going through the backstage being like, hello, good morning, like having a great time. And then I'd love to see him encounter Dustin in his current condition with his big, as the tweet said, Eastern European porn star eyes, so sad, huge and sad, and I'd just love to see them interact.
Wow.
Do you think Tony will do that for me? You think that's coming down the pipeline?
I think Dustin's mood would overpower Ospreay's even, which is powerful.
Wow. I'd love to see Ospreay kind of dim a little bit and just be like, guys, not the guy you want to hang out with.
It's the depression versus cheerful match, and we just have them have a conversation and see who comes out the winner.
Guys, I think we're cooking here. If OC doesnn't claim custody of Dustin and Ospreay takes custody of Dustin, they become a tag team. And Ospreay is constantly like, Dustin, come on, we're having fun. Let's go wrestle. And Dustin's like,
buddy,
hey, we're not having fun.
Buddy.
Me, I don't like to wrestle.
Their Titantron, when they come out, is like a smiley face and a frowny face next to each other. They're holding hands. It's the best friends holding hands thing.
Dustin is full Eeyore. He's just like, I used to have love in my life. I used to have a family. I used to have a son.
He's still wearing a shredded shirt.
Oh my God, though, but like
over another shirt.
It's a tag. Dustin will have a tag partner that'll be thrilled to wear a tracksuit with him, though.
Oh, that's true.
That's so true.
Oh,
do you think
maybe
that Dustin would wear that
Hmm.
little Kermit tracksuit?
Oh yeah,
he'd love it.
A group costume? I love that.
Osprey's tracksuits really fit right. I will say that. I'd love kind of a tighter fit.
Ooh, maybe the two of them, Dustin can pick out the pattern, but Ospreay picks out the fit.
That's perfect.
Now we're cooking.
That works. Okay, book it, Tony. We figured it out. We
got your kissing match, we got your happy sad match, and we got your tracksuit. I think we've solved a lot of problems.
I think we're set. And then I guess also just we could add on a quick get them in with JR too, and just see what comes out. We've never gotten Dustin in with JR. I don't think. I'd love to see what happened. I'd love to see what happened there.
Yeah.
Can I say something that might get me kicked off this pod?
Okay. Let me take a moment to think about it. Okay, I'm ready.
Braced.
Their tag team name would be Taste Spray.
Taste Spray?
I don't think I get it.
Like Taylor Ospreay?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
It would be, yes. Yeah, that's
I thought it
such
was very
a good. That's a really good.
I thought it was very funny.
I was kind of thinking of it as like ocean spray. Like it's kind of like a juice, kind of a juicy vibe. From orange juice to Taste Spray.
See?
Wow.
Orange Cassidy. Oh, I love that.
We're all really on the same wavelength right at this moment. I think that's what I'm really getting from this.
We've overheated ourselves so much that we almost can't communicate anymore. We're just all in our own little worlds where we're like watching the kissing match.
We just entered our mind palace and we can't get out of it.
Trapped in my mind palace watching kissing matches for all eternity. Okay, I think that is all we have for you this week. Guys, did I miss anything you were desperately trying to talk about?
Do you want to go another 2 hours on the tag match?
I'm like, I'm scrolling back up. I say, let's get back to basics. Tag eternity.
It is funny that we were like, this episode will probably go short when we had a best friends versus Young Bucks match with a lot of drama. Like in retrospect, maybe we should have seen that.
I think I was kind of lying to myself though. I was like, what are we gonna do? Spend the whole episode on that? And it's like, yeah. We could have gone another 2 hours. We had plenty more things we could say.
Yeah, I think we went at least 20 minutes on that, and that was like we moved ourselves along. Like, I think we easily could have done like 2 hours.
The number of things we want to paint loving word pictures of in the world of best friends and the Young Bucks, our sweet boys.
Yeah, well, I rewatched the whole match before bed that same night. So,
oh my God, it was so good. It was so fun.
Can you believe we once were so lucky that we just had a prolonged feud?
No. I don't think that happened.
And it was one of the normal feuds where sometimes there was singles and sometimes there was tag matches. And it took place over like several weeks. And
people kept wrestling each other? Yeah. Like from both factions? Huh.
You guys are making this up. Okay, I'm sorry. You're lying to yourselves.
And I'm pretty sure that was the last normal feud the Bucks and best friends ever had.
That's quite possibly true.
Don't you think it'll be quite beautiful when the Bucks bring JB back and they're all in a faction together? I just today suddenly into my head popped the image of when I think Adam Cole was yanking JB back by his hair and he was screaming in agony, and the Bucks were gently kissing his cheeks on either side. But those are his greatest allies at the company, and he will be coming back to join them. And maybe they'll kiss his cheeks again.
Life comes at you fast, you know?
I now want like a Bucks and JB trios match against Adam Cole and the Kingdom, just to have a moment where the Bucks are holding Adam Cole and Jungle Boy pulls his hair back and
that's the kiss. That would feel pretty satisfying.
Like
Hair's on another foot now. Yeah.
You found something I'd like Adam Cole to do at this moment. So that's pretty good. Boy, we've come up with some great ideas this episode, I'll tell you.
And we're all kind of in the same zone in a certain
There's a lot of kissing involved in all of them, but I think that's what's missing from the promotion in general.
Tony, I have another idea for you. And he's like, is it about kissing? It's like, yeah, of course it's about kissing.
No, it's not kissing this time. It's
It's that. It's the. Is
They
it the
gently
the,
put their mouths on his cheeks is all.
It's the Good Place clip where it's just like I have another.
Yeah. I couldn't. I was gonna make that same one too, and I couldn't think of what it is. And it's what is it? It's a cactus.
It's a cactus.
I have something behind my back for you. Is it another cactus? No.
He's like, is it the file
cactus?
I asked for? Yes. Is it another cactus? No. Yes. Tony says, put it in the kissing idea bin with all the other kissing ideas. And we'll get to it someday.
His whole office is getting full up with kissing ideas. We can't stop.
He says, I have 2 bins for you girls. It's the kissing bin and it's the deep psychological issues ripped out of a man's chest bin. Which one? And sometimes we're like, both. It kind of goes in both.
Kind of the one leads to the other, I think, ideally.
The bins are kind of linked.
Leah, before we leave, will you do one more quick round of Dave Meltzer talking about the kissing match?
And I think Dave. Oh my God. And Brian. The thing was the kissing.
How was it, Dave? How was the kissing?
I wish I had some papers in front of me that I could rustle.
I gotta look for. And Brian keeps being like, just.
There we go. Brian. And and they kissed. They kissed.
Boy, did they.
I'm good at Dave's like cadence, but not his actual accent. So people are going to be like, is he a 1920s detective? Say, Brian.
What do you say? What kind of kissing were they doing? Well, I think this has been all cool and normal and fun and awesome. And I've been Allie.
I've been Ann.
And I've been Leah.
It remains Tunnel Talk. Our theme is by Kris. You can find us on Twitter, Tunnel Talk Pod, Tumblr, Tunnel Talk Pod, Gmail, tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. That's email. That's an email that we have.
Kris, it's tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. Tunnel Talk Pod with the pod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on the Social Suplex Network feed, where you can check out some of the other great podcasts on the network. I've been having a lot of fun listening to them today through a hard day. They kept me company. And you can also find us on the Social Suplex Network Discord, where we're coming up with fun game ideas while our listeners are coming up with them for us. And then we get to enjoy them and talk about them. And you can too if you join us there. So please stay frosty. Please come back next week.